looking at this triangle right here, the first thing I want you to do is circle your short leg. So find your short leg. Which one is our short leg? 1. Good. How do I go from short leg? Where's my long leg at? Which one's my long leg? B. So how do I go from short leg to the long leg? Multiply by square root of 3. So I'm going to take 1 times the square root of 3, which gives us
1 square root of 3.
Right, or just square root of 3. So square root of 3 is my B. Now it already gave us the hypotenuse, but let's talk about it. Can I go from long leg to the hypotenuse? No, I always have to go back, right? So go to your starting point. How do I go from short leg to the hypotenuse? Multiply by 2. Okay? Let's look at another one. Working with 30, 60, 90 triangles, we start with our, what kind of triangle are we working with? A right triangle. Okay, so we have our right triangle, and then we have 30 degrees and 60. Bless you. Let's talk about labeling our sides. So the most important side with a 30, 60, 90 triangle is that short side. So put an X on that short side, and then I want you to circle that side. That side is the most important to us. Okay? To get from the short leg to anything else, we're going to be multiplying. So to get from short leg to the long leg, now the long leg is this side right here. That's our long leg, because what is this other side called? That's called the hypotenuse. Yep. So to get from the short leg to our long leg, we're going to multiply by the square root of 3. So to get from short leg to long leg, we're going to multiply by the square root of 3.
So it's basically the same as long leg?
Kind of. And then what's important to understand is we have to go from the short leg every single time. So we can't go from the long leg to the hypotenuse. We always have to go back to our short leg. So to go from short leg to the hypotenuse, we're going to multiply by 2. Okay? So we always have to go to our short leg. That's our starting point. That's the most important leg to us. So you can think of that leg as being across from our 30-degree angle, or short leg, it's literally the shortest leg on the triangle. Okay, so you can think about it that way too. Questions about the model so far? Okay, first slide. Look at this one here. First thing I want you to do is what? Circle your short leg. Where is it? 12. I want to find both my long leg and my hypotenuse. Does it matter which one I find?
No.
First. Nope. Which one do we want to find? I heard hypotenuse. How do I go from short leg to the hypotenuse? Careful, we're going to the hypotenuse, so we're going to multiply by 2. So I'm going to take 12 times 2, which is 24. So 24 is my hypotenuse. How do I get to the long leg? Can I go from the hypotenuse?
No.
Why? Where do I have to go from?
You have to go from the short leg.
I have to go from the short leg. How do I go from the short leg to the long leg?
12 times 4.
Yep, multiply by the square root of 3. What's 12 times the square root of 3? Don't use your calculator.
12.
12 square root of 3. Why can it not be square root of 36? Because they're not both radicals, okay? So what we just found was our long leg is 12 square root of 3. Okay, questions so far about how to go from the short leg when you're given the short leg? Okay, let's look more. Circle your short leg. What's our short leg?
5.
Short leg is 5. What do we want to find first? Does it matter?
No.
Nope.
Let's start with hypotenuse.
Hypotenuse. How do I go from short leg to the hypotenuse?
Multiply by 2, that's 10.
Yep, 5 times 2, and we get 10. So 10 is our hypotenuse. What's the last side we have to find?
Long leg.
Long leg. How do I get there? Where do I have to start?
Multiply by square root of 3 from the short side.
Right, I have to go from the short leg where I circled. That's my starting point. So we go 5 times what?
Square root of 3.
5 times square root of 3 and gives us 5 square root of 3.
Sorry.
Questions about going from the short leg? Okay, go ahead and next 3 on your own. Start by circling your short leg and then find both of those missing sides. On number 1, well actually on all of these, what is our most important piece of these triangles? Short leg, okay? On 1, 2, and 3, did they give us the short leg?
No.
Yes.
7, 3, 10.
Right, short leg, they gave us the short leg on all of them. Okay, so let's go over number 1. How do I go from short leg to hypotenuse?
Square root of 3, multiply.
Times by 2, right? We're going to the hypotenuse, so we need to multiply 7 times 2 to give us 14. So that is my hypotenuse. How can I find the long leg?
Times by square root of 3 now.
From where?
The short leg.
The short leg. So I take 7 times the square root of 3, which is
7 square root of 3.
7 square root of 3. Are 2 and 3 pretty similar?
Yeah.
Just with different numbers? Okay, let's look at number 3. I already circled the short leg. Which one do we want to find first? Hypotenuse. How can I go from short leg to the hypotenuse?
Multiply by 2.
Yep, 10 times 2, which is
20.
20. How do I know which one the hypotenuse is? Across from that 90-degree angle. Yep, so here's 20. And then how do I go from the long leg? Can I go from the hypotenuse? No, I got to go back to my starting point that I circled. How do I get to the long leg?
Times by square root of 3.
Times by square root of 3, and we get
10 square root of 3.
10 square root of 3. Good. So it's pretty nice when they give us the short leg, right?
What if they don't?
Right, but what if they don't? Let's a couple examples like that. We're still going to start by circling our short leg. What is my short leg on this one? X, so circle your short leg. That's the first thing we want to find. If they don't give us the short leg, that's the first side that we want to find. What did they give us, though? They gave us the long leg. So think with 45, 45, 90. If they gave us the hypotenuse, what did we do to go back? We divided, okay? So if they gave us the long leg, which is 5, how am I going to go back to the short leg?
Divide by square root of 3.
Divide by square root of 3. Yep, so I'm going to take 5 divided by the square root of 3.
Times by
Now, what's wrong with that?
radical on the bottom.
There's a radical on the bottom. How do I get rid of the radical on the bottom?
Multiply it by itself.
Multiply it by itself on the bottom and on the top. Okay? What do I get on the top after I multiply?
5 square root of 3.
Yep, 5 square root of 3. And then what do I get on the bottom?
9 square root.
Right, square root of 9. Can we keep going?
Yeah.
Yep, we still have that radical on the bottom. So I'm going to keep the top. What does the bottom change to?
3.
Yep. Why is it not the square root of 3 anymore?
Because we took it out.
Right, because we already applied that square root to the 9, right? So square root's gone after you've used it. Okay, what did that just give us?
5 square root of 3 over 3.
Right, what side is that?
Small side.
That's our short leg, right? So we have 5 square root. Let me write a different color so we don't get confused. We have 5 square root of 3 over 3. Okay, now how do we find our hypotenuse?
Times it by 2.
Take that short leg times by 2. So what that's going to look like, we take 5 square root of 3 divided by 3 times 2. Now, I have a fraction times a whole number. How can I turn that whole number 2 into a fraction?
2 over 1.
Put it over 1. Yep. So now, same thing we did up top. We're just going to multiply straight across. What do I do with those two whole numbers? 5 and 2. 5 times 2, they multiply. What happens to this radical? It just stays the same because there's no radical to go with it. So we get 5 times 2 is 10, square root of 3,
Over 3.
and then I get 3 times 1, which is 3. What side did that just give us? That's our hypotenuse. So we have 10 square root of 3 over 3. Okay, so again, what is the most important leg that you have to find first?
Short leg.
Short leg. Okay, let's look at a few more. What's the first step with 30, 60, 90?
Short leg. Find it.
Find it, circle it. What is our short leg?
X.
X. How do you know which one your short leg is?
It's the shortest.
It's the shortest, okay, and it's across from that 30-degree angle, okay, but you can think short leg is literally the shortest leg, okay? What do I need to do first?
8 divided by square root of 3.
Close. We gotta find that short side, right? So it gave us the long leg or the hypotenuse? Gave us the hypotenuse, so how do we go backwards from the hypotenuse? Divide by 2. So I'm gonna take
Got a whole number.
8 divided by 2, which is 4. That just gave me my short leg. So now, how do I find my long leg?
Times by square root of 3.
Right, because which leg do we always want to go from?
The short leg.
The short leg. So I'm going to take my short leg times what to get to my long leg? Square root of 3. And then what do I get for my answer? 4 square root of 3. And that is my long leg. So you always want to go back to your short leg to find your other side lengths. Okay, go ahead and divide it by, try 5 and 6, or 4 and 5 on your own. Talk about these last two. On number 4 and 5, what's the first thing that you want to do with these?
Short leg, find it.
Find the short leg. What's the short leg on number 4?
X.
X. Why do you think I make you circle the short leg?
So you know which one it is.
So you know which one it is, and that's our most important one. That's our starting point. Okay? What does it give us on number 4? Gives us the long leg. How do I go back to the short leg from the long leg?
Divide it by the square root of 3.
Yep, take 6 divided by the square root of 3. Can I have a radical on the bottom?
No.
No. What do I do to get rid of it?
Multiply by itself.
Yep, multiply by the square root of 3 on the top and on the bottom. What do I get on the top? 6 square root of 3. What does the bottom turn into? Square root of 9. Top stays. What do I get on the bottom? Just 3. Can I do anything else to make that simpler? What can I do with those whole numbers? I can divide them, right? What's 6 divided by 3? 2, and then I still have that square root of 3. So if you ever have those whole numbers out in front, try and simplify them if you can. Okay? So what did that just give us? What was the whole point for that? What did it give us? That gave us our short leg. So that's 2 square root of 3. What's the last side I have to find?
The long leg. The hypotenuse.
Hypotenuse. There you go. How do I find the hypotenuse from the short leg?
Oh, wait.
You times it by 2.
Times it by 2. What do I get? Right. Multiply your whole numbers. 2 times 2. 4. And then we get the square root of 3 in front. So our hypotenuse is 4 square root of 3. Good. Okay, what about number 5? First step is what? Circle the short leg. What is our short leg?
X.
X. Okay, what does it give us this time?
The hypotenuse.
Gives us the hypotenuse. How do we go from the hypotenuse back to the short leg?
Divide by 2.
Yep. 42 divided by 2 gives us 21. That just gave us what? The short leg. And then what's the last side I have to find?
The long leg.
The long leg. How do I go from short leg to long leg?
Times by square root of 3.
Multiply by square root of 3 to give us
21 square root
21 square root
of 3.
of 3. And that is our long leg. Any questions over 30, 60, 90 triangles?
No.
Okay, don't forget those 45, 45, 90s. Okay?